All right, let's talk about something you see absolutely everywhere this time of year, the Easter egg. Today, we're gonna crack open the story behind this symbol. Because while it might just seem like chocolate and fun, its real origins, they're surprisingly deep and honestly, pretty fascinating.
I mean, it's a fair question, right? You've got Easter bunnies, baskets of candy, and egg hunts. But how exactly does an egg connect to one of the most important days in the Christian faith? It's not exactly obvious. Well, that's the mystery we're gonna solve today.
For most of us, when we think Easter egg, we picture bright colors, maybe those plastic ones filled with candy, and of course, the chaos of an Easter egg hunt. It's become this really joyful and, let's be honest, mostly secular part of the holiday. But behind all that chocolate and shiny foil is a story that goes back thousands of years.
And what's so cool about this story is that it starts way before Easter was even a thing. See, the egg was already a hugely powerful symbol in tons of ancient cultures. They saw it as the source of all life and rebirth, this perfect, natural little miracle.
This old Roman saying just sums it up perfectly. All life comes from an egg. So you can kind of see how early Christians, who were living in a world that already held the egg in such high regard, would look at it and see a perfect match for their own story of new life.
And that is exactly what happened. The egg was adopted, and it was given this profound new layer of meaning. It got transformed into a really powerful symbol of the resurrection itself.
Okay, so here's the core idea, the big analogy. The hard, seemingly dead shell of the egg, that came to represent the sealed rock tomb of Christ. And just like a chick breaks free from that shell into a new life, Christ emerged from the tomb, victorious over death. It's an incredibly powerful metaphor when you think about it.
This really captures that direct symbolism that made the egg such a perfect teaching tool for early believers. But you know, the story doesn't stop there. It turns out there was also a very practical and, frankly, totally logical reason the egg became so central to celebrating Easter.
And that very practical reason? It's all tied up in the tradition of the Great Lenten Fast.
So, for a little context, Lent is that 40-day period leading up to Easter Sunday. And historically, it's been a time of serious sacrifice and fasting, where people give up certain foods and luxuries to prepare for the holiday.
Now, in the early church, the fasting rules during Lent were really strict. Believers had to give up meat and pretty much all animal products, and that included, and this is the crucial part of our story, eggs.
So here's the thing. For 40 days, people were fasting, but their chickens were not. They just kept on laying eggs, day after day. So by the time Easter Sunday finally rolled around, families had this massive surplus of eggs. What happens when the fast ends? Well, naturally, it became a huge feast, and eggs were the star of the show.
And this is where it all clicks into place, where that practical reality and the deep spiritual symbolism merged to create the traditions we still have today. I mean, what do you do with a mountain of eggs and a heart just full of joy for the resurrection? You celebrate. And the earliest, most significant tradition was to dye the eggs red. This wasn't just some random festive color. No, it was deeply symbolic. The red represented the blood that Christ shed on the cross. It was a way to connect the joy of new life directly back to the sacrifice that made it all possible.
And from there, the tradition just blossomed. Decorating eggs with all sorts of bright, joyful colors became this beautiful sign of rejoicing. In some cultures, particularly in Eastern Europe, this evolved into an absolutely incredible art form, with these intricate, delicate designs that turned a simple food into a cherished piece of religious art.
So we've followed the egg from this ancient symbol of life to a powerful Christian icon to a very practical feast food. But where does that leave this symbol today?
Well, the reality is that while the Easter egg is more popular than ever, its original, powerful meaning has really faded into the background for a lot of people. It's become so connected to candy and bunnies and hunts that we often forget the incredible story of the empty tomb that it was first meant to tell.
So we'll leave you with this thought. The Easter egg isn't just a piece of chocolate or a colorful decoration. It is a symbol that is packed with layers of history, faith, and meaning. And now that you know its story, the next time you see one, what will you see? Just a simple shell? Or maybe something more?